There's a very high chance that if you're watching this video, you're a guy. And since you're a guy, you have a lot, or not that much, of this thing called testosterone. Testosterone is the primary sex hormone in us men. It regulates libido, which is your sex drive. It determines how fat distributes throughout your body, also your strength levels, muscle mass. It's pretty much what defines us as men, and it's an integral part to what gives us the motivation to strive towards something meaningful in our lives. And if you desire low body fat levels and you want to increase your muscle mass, then having high testosterone is key. It plays an essential role in your health, your physique, and your well-being. But if you aren't avoiding these two main factors that harm your T levels, then you could be leaving your overall health and potential gains on the table. There are a lot of things that can suppress the natural production of your testosterone, and there are a lot of things that you can do to naturally higher your testosterone levels. But in this video, I want to touch on these two things that I feel are becoming more prevalent in our daily lives, and that I've been becoming more aware of as well, and I want to make you aware of it too, because I think it is very vital to the production of your own testosterone. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. Plastics and endocrine disruptors. Plastic and endocrine disruptors, they're literally everywhere, and it's very hard to avoid nowadays. It's all up in our water, our food, our clothes, bed sheets, our skin and hair products, what we cook with, how our food is packaged, how we contain our food. Some of these hormone disrupting chemicals, they mimic natural producing hormones like estrogen, and it's been found that in men, these disruptors can reduce your sperm count, lower sperm motility, and can disrupt metabolic pathways and deny production to our testosterone. Is it then any surprise why men's testosterone levels have severely plummeted in the last 50 to 100 years when we've been absorbing and breathing in these hormone altering chemicals that greedy corporations just recently started to use to fill their pockets and ignore the side effects it causes on us? And if that doesn't sound bad enough, these chemicals and disruptors, they also get in the way of sending out hormonal messages to your immune system, your reproductive system, and also your neurological system. And consequently, research has found that these chemicals mess with early puberty, bringing on learning disabilities, lower IQ, and DNA damage. Even though it may seem impossible and overwhelming to avoid these plastics and chemicals, we can still be aware of it and take the steps to reduce and minimize them throughout our daily lives, in turn leading us to a more natural and healthy state of being, which will in turn again boost our natural testosterone levels. I'm currently taking baby steps towards reducing my use of plastic and things that would mess with my hormones, because to be honest, when you start doing a deep dive on a new subject like this, it can be a bit hard to transition to, but I'll give some examples and alternatives that I've been using and learning about myself that you can use to avoid these disrupting chemicals. So the first thing I want to get started with is the clothes that we wear and what we sleep with. If you look at the tags on the insides of your clothes, you'll most likely see that what you're wearing contains polyester. Whether it's a blend between polyester and cotton, there's no denying that polyester is one of the most common materials used in clothing production, mostly used because it's cheap and it maximizes profits to these clothing brands. However, polyester isn't sustainable or renewable like other materials are, and it's a very harmful fabric to the environment. Not only that, but it's also harmful to you and I. Wearing it can inflame and aggravate certain skin conditions and impact our hormones and our testosterone. Those tight spandex shirts that you see a lot of influencers, fitness influencers wearing, those are usually 100% polyester. Heat releases these toxic polyester chemicals that are used to make the clothing, so when your body is heating up during an intense workout, some of these chemicals are released and absorbed into the skin. We're basically wearing and exercising with synthetic plastics on our skin, not allowing our pores to properly breathe when training and sweating. But luckily, there's a simple fix to this. Try to buy more natural, looser materials like 100% cotton, linen, and wool. And it's also on our bed sheets and pillowcases as well. Being wrapped up in these blankets and having our faces shoved on these chemical pillowcases for 8 hours at a time, again, try to go for more natural materials for your bed as well, like 100% cotton, linen, or wool, or silk sheets. And don't be fooled by bamboo material either. When bamboo is processed into fabric and put into clothes and bed sheets, it gets advertised as soft, silky, and eco-friendly material, but in reality, it was most likely created using toxic chemicals just like polyester. And the next thing I want to talk about is switching out plastics for glass. Instead of drinking or storing your food in plastic containers, make the switch to glass. I used to drink out of plastic gallon jugs and plastic water bottles until I switched it out for this glass bottle that cost a few bucks at the grocery store, and I've been using it ever since. I also noticed that the water tastes better. I don't know if it may be just a placebo, but the water tastes better in the glass. I also got rid of all my plasticware containers that I stored my food in, and I purchased these glass ones instead. said. Also, avoid eating with plastic utensils or eating on styrofoam plates. Not only are the chemicals toxic, but you'll save a lot more money and a lot of your testosterone when you have quality glass plates and stainless steel utensils. It may seem kind of weird, but you can find great used glassware essentials at thrift stores for cheap, so look into that as well. Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on is hygiene products. Your toothpaste, sunscreen, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, skincare products, etc. They have all been poisoned as well with endocrine disruptors, parabens, phosphates, I forget how to say that, but I'll put it up on the screen, and aluminum are what you'll find in most of your common hygiene products, and these are all common known endocrine disruptors. I'm only briefly going to mention this one because I haven't done enough research and experimentation on these hygiene products that would be better alternatives, but there are definitely a lot of sources online that will point you to the right directions if you want to use more natural products for your body. I recommend checking out the Instagram page The 360 Upgrade, as he has a shit ton of great information on exactly this. Alright, so the last thing that is going in this category is what we cook with. Throw out your non-stick pans and plastic spatulas and replace them with stainless steel, and for your spatula, use a quality wood spatula. The stuff that makes the pans non-stick has also been shown to leak toxic chemicals at high temperatures into the food that you're cooking. And this may all seem like overkill, and it's definitely easier said than done to just get rid of anything deemed a hormone disruptor, but trust me, I believe it goes a long way to just try. It's definitely possible to minimize these chemical exposures throughout our lives. If you're keen on making a change into living a more natural, high testosterone way of life, then gradually try to switch some of these things out. You don't have to change everything at once, but just changing a few things right now could be saving your testosterone down the line. Okay, so the second factor that is definitely having a negative effect on your testosterone is seed oils and processed foods. As you can see in this picture, these are some of the most common used seed oils that are very prevalent in the Western diet. Canola oil, soybean oil, corn, sunflower, cottonseed, etc. are all currently being used in a wide variety of processed foods. These oils are highly processed, refined, and often chemically altered, leading to high concentration of omega-6 fatty acids and a low concentration of omega-3 fatty acids. This imbalance in fatty acid composition can lead to inflammation, which has also been linked to a range of a few diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. So I definitely recommend eliminating these from your diet as soon as possible. On top of these diseases, seed oils have also been shown to have negative impacts on hormone levels in us men. Research has also shown that consuming seed oils can decrease testosterone levels, leading to a range of health problems, and that includes reduced muscle mass, increased body fat, and decreased libido. The dangers of seed oils have been largely overlooked by the food industry and the mainstream media, despite so much evidence that these oils pose significant risk to our health and our hormone levels. Because, well, it's cheap to cook with. It's cheap to make essential food items with these oils. It's cheaper for these fast food overlords to infuse their food with seed oil rather than a high quality butter or even an olive oil or coconut oil. Like, these oils, they're literally found in most restaurants. It's crazy. And mostly everyone is blind to it. Even me, even though I wasn't eating fast food at all and I would always try to avoid it, I was still consuming these seed oils that I had no idea were in my food. I was under the impression that if it was low in fat and sugar and high in protein, then I was pretty much safe. But these oils are also hidden in places that you wouldn't even expect. For example, I'd scarf down like 2 protein bars a day, and I'd stuff my face with peanut butter and bread, oblivious to the fact that these foods also contain these seed oils. I thought that I had a healthy diet until I saw what kind of ingredients my food really contained. But you and I, we can avoid these simply by eating more whole foods, natural foods coming straight from the source of where it was created. Get rid of any processed foods that you have, like the basic junk food like cookies, chips, cake, that shit that has no nutritional value, which is pretty obvious. You don't want to be stuffing your face with junk food anyway, and you'll find most of these junk foods contain seed oils. Also, stop cooking sticking with seed oils and use olive oil or a quality butter instead. You could also use coconut oil, which is also a good one to use too. I started implementing butter and olive oil in my diet recently, and I thought just getting the cheapest of the bunch was going to cut it, but sadly you gotta go with the alternatives. And it's crazy how these are even considered alternatives when it should be considered the norm for these brands. But anyways, for olive oil, just straight up get the organic extra virgin one, because there are a lot of cheap generic low quality olive oils that are diluted with seed oils, so watch out for those. And avoid any butters that have been made with seed oils too. Most butters you find in grocery stores have been created with the use of seed oils, and it will have it shown on the ingredients list. I recommend finding a grass-fed organic butter. This brand of butter will also do. So yeah, always look at the food labels, check the ingredients list on the food packages to see if seed oils are listed. Even your meat and eggs are contaminated with this stuff too. If possible, try to buy locally or even from a grass-fed source to avoid these harmful oils. I don't buy locally, but I try to buy as organic as possible now, making sure the animals have been grass-fed. Most animals that produce these generic products in store have a shit diet and aren't really fed properly. I know some of these alternatives can be expensive and hard to obtain, but in this day and age, we're in a chemical warfare and it's dire to invest in our bodies to give them the best nutrients possible. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these two because I've been recently implementing them in my own life, and I thought that I should make a video about it as soon as possible to kind of just get the word out to you guys, even though some of you may already have known about these two factors. But if you haven't, then maybe I hopefully could introduce you to them and you could do more research about it yourself and go from there. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be expanding on this topic a bit more about things that are harming our testosterone, so stick around for that. I'm also grateful to you guys for watching my videos. Get out in the sun and appreciate life, and you guys take care. Thanks for watching.